I remember the silence after she fell. Not the thud of her body hitting the floor, not the gasps, not even my father-in-law's trembling hand reaching for her shoulder. No, I remember the silence that followed, the kind that only comes when the truth finally cashes its debt. But let me start before the fall. The hook. The night of the party. It was my son's 12th birthday. He never liked crowds. The kind of boy who'd rather build something quietly in a corner than be the center of anything. But she, my wife, Elise, wanted the party big. "He needs confidence," she said. "He's too much like you." Her father, the old banker, nodded in approval. "Weakness runs in the blood," he'd said once, smiling at me like I wasn't standing right there. That night, after the cake, she clinked her glass. "Speech time," she sang. My son's eyes widened. He looked at me. I almost said no, but she'd already dragged him forward. "Speak up, you coward," she hissed when his voice faltered. The guests laughed, unsure if it was a joke. "No wonder you have no guts." Then her father joined in. "The boy has no backbone, a real disappointment." I stood. My hands were trembling, not from anger, from restraint. But before I could move, my son looked up. "Dad, wait," he said. His voice was calm, too calm. "I've got a special speech for Mom," and then he began. Backstory, the beginning. Elise was the kind of woman who filled a room without trying. When I met her, I thought she was light, radiant, alive. I didn't see the heat behind it, the kind that scorches. She liked control, over her image, her money, her words. I was softer, quieter, content. She called that stability. Later, she called it weakness. I gave her everything she asked for. The house, the car, the life she could photograph. But she wanted more. Admiration, validation. She said love bored her. I stayed for my son. I thought if I could absorb her cruelty, he wouldn't have to. Discovery, the betrayal. It started with the smell of another man's cologne. Then the late meetings, the muted calls, the locked phone. She didn't even try to hide it well. The moment of truth came wrapped in sound, a voicemail she didn't delete properly. His voice, her laugh, her words. "He'll never know. He doesn't have the spine to confront me." I didn't confront her. Not yet. That night, she tucked our son in, kissed his forehead, and told him, "You should be more like me." He said nothing, but his eyes found mine. I saw it then, the quiet hurt, the understanding that children shouldn't have. That's when I knew what I had to do. Shift, the plan. Revenge isn't rage, it's patience wearing a mask. I started with her father. He trusted me, the obedient son-in-law. He let me manage a few investments, small things at first. I learned his accounts, his shell companies, his habits. Then Elise. I studied her routines, her passwords, her vanity. She left breadcrumbs, and I followed. Every text, every transfer, every lie. I didn't shout, I didn't confront. I built, brick by brick. Evidence, leverage, exit plans. My son helped without knowing. "Mom says Grandpa is hiding money from Grandma," he once whispered. I smiled. "That's interesting," I told him. He didn't know he'd just handed me the final piece. Execution, the trap. The night before the party, I gave my son something. A folded note and a look that told him everything he needed to know. "I trust you." He was nervous, but he nodded. At the party, everything was perfect. The champagne flowed. The old man bragged. Elise sparkled in her gold dress, laughing too loud, drinking too much. Then came the speech. "Mom," my son began, voice trembling at first, "you always tell me to be brave, so I want to thank you for teaching me honesty. Like when you told Grandpa about the secret accounts, or when you told Uncle Ben you loved him more than Dad." The room froze. Her glass slipped. The old man's face went white. "What did you say?" he barked. My son looked at me. I nodded once. "Dad showed me how to find proof," he said softly. "You always said words are cheap." And then he read. The note, the printed emails, the bank transfers, the photographs. Her knees buckled before he finished the first page. The old man clutched his chest, muttering her name. I didn't move. I just watched the empire of their arrogance crumble. Resolution. The aftermath. She left that night in an ambulance. Her father followed a week later. Heart failure, they said. The papers called it a tragic family scandal. I didn't respond to calls or questions or pity. My lawyer handled everything: the divorce, the inheritance, the custody. Now it's just me and my son. He smiles more these days. Still quiet, still gentle, but there's something in his eyes now. Strength. Sometimes he asks, "Dad, do you think I was too harsh?" I tell him the truth. No, you just spoke the words they forced down your throat.